Welcome back to Get Your Man On. This is Evan Bass. If you have a question for us, you need to get something off your chest, leave a secret confession for the world to hear, go to getyourmanon.com. Click that big button in the middle of the page and give it to me. Come on. Want to hear your stories, want to hear your questions. They can be serious, they can be silly. It is anonymous. You do not have to leave your name. You're welcome to use a silly little accent if you'd like. Would love to hear from you. You can also book an appointment at a clinic close to you by going to getyourmanon.com for ED and low T, and a medical provider will take good care of you. We are here with Justin Turner. Justin, welcome back.
Appreciate it.
And we're talking about erectile dysfunction. And I want to talk to you about the causes. We already talked about the causes of erectile dysfunction. I want to talk to you about some of the treatments that we have for erectile dysfunction. What are some of the most common treatments for ED?
Yeah, if we talk long enough, you're going to hear me say this multiple times, but eat well, sleep well, watch stress levels, watch weight, exercise, take good care of yourself. But there's kind of this protocol. I mean, the first line drugs are the Viagra, Cialis, Levitra type drugs. We call those PD5 inhibitors. Been on the market really long time. Good, safe options. Not perfect options by any stretch of the imagination, but good options. Main beast for those drugs can be price. Overall success rate's not what it should be. And then the side effects are pretty common with those drugs. While, again, they're safe, but headache, red face, nasal congestion, acid reflux, lower back pain, those are up to 20% of guys get those, and a lot of guys will stop treatment because of those.
Can people really go blind from that stuff?
So in theory, yes. Like it is a warning on the FDA, so I am not going to sit up here and say it doesn't happen. None of my peers that I've ever talked to have ever seen it. I haven't seen it really written about, but the fear is, PD5 inhibitors, they block a certain enzyme in the body.
Viagra, Cialis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Viagra, Cialis. They block a certain enzyme in the body. Most of that's in the pelvis. You block that enzyme, allows those blood vessels to slide open. You have that enzyme in other parts of the body, and unfortunately we do, or maybe it is fortunately, but we have some of it back at the back of the eye around the optic nerve. And so in theory, you can have dilation of the blood vessels and lose blood supply to the optic nerve, leading to blindness. Warn guys, but I haven't ever seen it, just to be honest with you. There is another warning about.
And how many guys have you treated? Rough numbers.
I'll give you 20,000.
20,000. Okay.
So, at least.
Yeah, that's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've never seen it?
Never.
All right, and never heard of that ever happening.
Mm-mm.
I did. I remember one guy came in and he was like, I took Viagra and it's like I saw little blue aliens floating around.
Yeah, so the abnormal vision, that's a different scenario. So with Viagra specifically, you can see with all of them, they can cause blue haze, blue tint to your vision. One of the reasons we're careful with pilots and military guys operating pretty important equipment. Yeah. So that's abnormal vision. That's different than the vision loss that we'd be worried on that black box warning.
So you're saying that some of these pilots out there seeing UFOs these days could be a side effect of Viagra?
Yep, absolutely.
That's funny. But those are obviously very rare, not stuff you hear all the time, or is that stuff you do hear? Not the blindness, but like the spot.
So the headache, red face, nasal congestion, acid reflux, lower back pain. 80% of guys don't get any of those, but 20% do. Normal side effect profile is about 0.5%, 1%. So when I tell you 20%, we see it every single day. Now, most of the time, mild. Most of the time goes away the more you take the drugs. A lot of times very inconsistent in how it presents, meaning get a headache now, take 10 more pills and don't get a headache. And just to be honest with you, Evan, a lot of these guys, as long as they have good sex, they're going to just take a little Tylenol after they get the headache. And so they just kind of roll through it. So again, I do see the side effects quite common, but most of the time in a mild presentation.
Gotcha. Now, if Viagra works, will it just keep working all the time, or how does that work?
No. So again, you look at Pfizer, Bayer, Lilly. They're going to report very high success rates with Viagra, Cialis, Levitra. And again, they are good drugs. But in a clinic like ours, where we treat mostly severe erectile dysfunction, it's very clear that I'm going to get about a 50% success rate, meaning that if I see 20 guys a day, I'm going to have 10 guys that do really well on Viagra, Cialis feature, and I'm going to have 10 guys that don't. Their story is either going to be it used to work and doesn't work now, or it never quite did what it's supposed to do. And so, no, a whole lot of guys I see, it used to work and doesn't now. It's a pretty common presentation.
Gotcha. And then, are there any different like delivery systems or anything with that? Like, or do you have to take a pill?
Yeah, no, so we get pretty creative. I mean, obviously, when I'm telling you half my guys come in failing the pills, I would say the majority of my guys come in failing the pills. That's why they're coming into my clinic. We will most definitely change delivery. We like sublingual delivery. The stomach's the biggest limiting factor.
What is sublingual?
Sublingual means under the tongue. So under the tongue, the stomach's the biggest limiting factor of the oral pill. So if you can just do anything to limit how much is lost in the gut and get more in the blood, you're going to get a better success rate. We can customize how we mix the drugs. And so now there are most definitely things you can do once you get to a specialty clinic.
Gotcha. So does alcohol affect Viagra?
Absolutely. Yeah. So alcohol affects sexual dysfunction in general. Most of the time when we're younger, it seems to add to sex. A lot of us can remember pretty amazing sex when we were young and drinking a little too much. But alcohol works by turning things off in the brain. And so all of us are going to live to a point where it turns too much off, and it's going to affect the ability to get an erection. And so it's going to, in that moment, when you've had more than a couple drinks, increase erectile dysfunction. And then it also takes up space in the gut. And so I'm telling you, when you swallow a Viagra and it's fighting to get through already, and you've got a 6-pack of, I'm not going to, beer in there.
We're not getting political here.
I know. It's going to slow down absorption even more. And so, again, I would say past the age of 40, yeah, you're going to see alcohol decrease. The effect of the medication, oral pills are, as we do it.
Gotcha. Is there a particular brand of beer that is worse for erectile? I'm just kidding. I'm telling.
Appreciate you. Let me skip on that.
Okay, so Viagra doesn't work, or maybe the side effects are not tolerable. Can't deal with it. What happens after that? Or you just go home and put it to bed?
No, absolutely not. If Viagra's not working for you, come see us. That's the take home. But there are a few other treatments I can go over. I mean, the next treatment, Trimix, which is actually a penile injection, been on the market well over 30 years. It is injected at the base of the penis. But it's injected normally with an instant syringe, a really small needle. Sounds horrible. Promise you it's not. That drug actually gives you an erection in about 10 minutes, normally gives you an erection that lasts about an hour. That drug's claim to fame is it has a 92% success rate. There's not a medication on the market that's more successful than those injections. And so it's a really, really good treatment option. Also doesn't have a lot of the same side effects you see with Viagra, Cialis feature. So you're not going to run into the headache, the red face, the nasal congestion, the acid reflux. Not going to have any of those issues. Doesn't have the interference with some other drugs. We didn't mention, Viagra, Cialis feature are safe drugs. The only exception, the biggest exception to that is its interaction with a couple drugs. Nitroglycerin being the biggest one. Some alpha blockers, which are drugs we typically put guys on to help them pee better. In both those cases, they can lower blood pressure too much. And so a lot of times, unfortunately, if guys get put on those medications, it's not safe for them to take Viagra, Cialis feature. You don't see that interaction with the injections. The biggest thing, to be honest, I'm worried about with the injections is don't have a 4-hour erection.
No, most guys would die for a 4-hour erection. Are you kidding?
They would change that tune about 2 hours in. I
Really?
promise you. Yeah, it sounds glorious. It's not. It's not very common. We talk about it every day. We put notice out there. It's on our walls when you come in. It's on a bunch of our paperwork. But it's a very, very rare, but a very serious side effect of the medication. And so it's a risk with the oral pills, but a very low risk. It's a little bit higher with the injections. And so
what do you do for that if that sucker lasts too long?
Well, I mean, there's multiple treatments for it. Normally,
so it's easy to get down usually? Or?
Yeah, usually. So they just need to seek help. The number one thing is just proper testing with the Trimix and avoid it, right? That's the place you go, is titrate up slowly, make sure you understand how a guy's going to respond to the medication, and avoid it. That's how we normally treat it. But there are medications. There's some oral medications, pseudoephedrine, Sudafed, Very good at
Sudafed?
Yeah. A lot of guys get sick, have a cold, take a medication that has Sudafed in it, and can't have sex and kind of chalk it up to just being sick. But Sudafed's a pretty good drug at ruining an erection.
Wait, did you hear that? So I should not take Sudafed if I want to have sex.
Absolutely should not take Sudafed if you want to have sex.
Oh my gosh, write that one down.
Yeah, and there's some injectable medicines that are very similar to that we'll use. And then there's some mechanical ways that we could resolve it if we needed to. The take home, if you ever experience...
Wait. You said mechanical. Is that like, I picture a little robot, like stretching it.
Well, not a robot. There is some manipulation that you can do, and then there is some puncturing it with a larger needle to draw the excess blood out, decrease that pressure so the body can naturally resolve it.
Gotcha. Okay.
But take home with a 4-hour erection, very, very rare. Call. Don't be, if it's happened to you, it's a couple hours in, it's not resolved, call your medical provider, call them immediately. There will be no consequence unless you go past and just walk around with it. That's where the consequences come from.
Justin, thank you so much for being here. I'm just honored to have you talk about these things. I'd love to have you on again.
Absolutely.
Dive in a little bit more. Fascinated by all the knowledge that you have and the experience you have. It's always an honor sitting with you, and appreciate you being here. Okay, coming up, we are going to take your questions, and maybe I convince Justin to stay a little bit more, but go to getyourmanon.com, leave us in the voicemail anonymous, and hit us up with any questions for ED or low T, and we'll get those taken care of. See you after the break.